Shalom, family, and welcome back to the Semitic Jew channel, where scripture is read with clarity, discipline, and covenant awareness, and not with performative theology. Today, we're in the book of 2 Timothy, and this letter is different. This is not Paul correcting confusion or organizing leadership. This is Paul preparing Israelites for what comes next, that knowing his time is short. This is a legacy letter. Let's talk about it. Number one, the setting. The setting is Paul is at the end of his journey. That's 2 Timothy chapter 1. So Paul writes this letter from prison again, but this time it's different. He's not awaiting release. He knows that the system is closing in on him. Paul writes to Timothy like a father would to a son, reminding him of his heritage, his calling, and his responsibility. So Paul says that God hath not given us a spirit of fear. And that is not some motivational speech, although there have been many speeches that could use that as motivation. It is about covenant grounding. Fear is always used when power wants obedience or when systems want obedience to it. So Paul tells Israel's leader, don't internalize intimidation. Number two, guard the deposit. That's 2 Timothy chapter 1. So Paul tells Timothy to guard what was entrusted to him and to not to trust self-sustaining things. Truth is self-sustaining in and of itself, but it must be protected. So Paul knows that once he's gone, things like doctrine will be distorted and authority will be abused. Power will become centralized within the context of the Israelites. And so he tells Timothy, don't innovate the covenant. Preserve it. Number three, suffering is part of faithfulness. That's 2 Timothy chapter 2. So Paul shifts to things like endurance, and he uses metaphors like the metaphor of a soldier, the metaphor of an athlete, and the metaphor of a farmer. Each one teaches the same lesson, that discipline precedes reward. So Paul says plainly that if you're living faithfully, resistance is expected. But that doesn't mean that God failed. It means that you're aligned with God. Number four, teach carefully, live cleanly. That's 2 Timothy chapter 2. Now, here's the thing. Paul warns against quarreling, like he did in the first letter, or word battles, battles about etymology, and even intellectual showdowns. Let's debate. Now, those things are not necessarily inherently bad because they can be teaching avenues because people are still learning. But let's be honest, truth doesn't need chaos to survive. So Paul instructs Timothy to teach with patience, correct with humility, and avoid pointless disputes. So wisdom isn't loud, it's just precise. Number five, the community will be tested internally. That's 2 Timothy chapter 3. So Paul becomes very direct. He says that difficult times will come, not just from the outside, but from within the community. And he lists those types of behaviors that are going to come. He says self-centeredness will come, that greed will come, arrogance will come, hypocrisy will come, religious performance without substance will come. So Paul's warning is sharp, that not everyone who sounds spiritual is faithful. Israel must learn discernment. Number six, scripture is for formation, not control. That's 2 Timothy chapter 3. So Paul reminds us that all scripture is profitable, which means that it's profitable to train us, not to dominate people, and not to replace our conscience, and not to excuse abuse. So Paul is safeguarding scripture from being weaponized by corrupt individuals. Number seven, Paul's final words. This is 2 Timothy chapter 4. So Paul closes with one of the most powerful statements in all of the New Testament. He says, I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course. And again, this is not pride. This is peace. So Paul knows he stayed faithful to his brethren, the Israelites, and also to the covenant that God had promised to them, to the calling. He tells Timothy, Hey, continue, remain steady, teach the truth, endure, and just finish well. Here's the closing message. The book of Second Timothy teaches Israelites how to preserve the truth, endure hardship, discern false spirituality, protect scripture, and remain loyal under pressure. This letter is not dramatic, it's not flashy, it's not loud, but it is faithful. If this teaching brought clarity, please like, share, and subscribe, and also comment below. In the next episode, Titus. Titus is again about order, discipline, and building healthy Israelite communities. Shalom, family, and I'll see you in the next one.